So, again, like I said, Stan Larimer is on tonight. We're going to find out what he's got coming up in the future, as well as, with BitShares. But we're also going to talk about what's going on with the crypto dollars and the numbers out there. I mean, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Everything is falling. I'm not a happy camper, and you're probably not either. But let's get to it. A reminder as well, all the links are down below for getting a BitShares wallet, as well as getting BitShare information. Forgive me for my voice. I'm still sick. I hope I don't hack while we're here. And Stan is also getting over his sickness, and hopefully he won't hack either. So we'll be a couple of hacking fools. Let me go ahead and I shouldn't even be saying that kind of stuff, because hopefully we won't be hacking. But let's go ahead and bring in Stan and make sure the quality works and the sound is good. Hey there, Stan. Welcome to Blue Rock Talk.
Hey there, Connie. I'm here, and I guess you're just going to call us a couple of hackers tonight.
That's right. We're true hackers. Now, I'm just going to make sure that it works. So let me see if your voice is going. Okay. We got you. Okay. Now, Stan, let's see. Elevator music. People call it elevator music. I like that little bitty song that was playing. It's kind of nice. It's kind of night music is what it is. So Stan, we're on, and I believe we're working here, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been like, well, for the newbies that are here, for cryptoconnie, as well as just Blue Rock Talk in general, everybody, this is Stan Larimer. He is the godfather of BitShares. And Stan, give more of a background of yourself so people will know more about you.
Well, I'm a guy who used to be a rocket scientist, teaching at the Air Force Academy and working on Mars rovers and that sort of thing. Since about 4 years ago, I came out of retirement to help my son, Dan Larimer, found his company and run it while he invented BitShares and then Steam it, and now he's working on EOS. So my particular role right now is to continue helping everybody understand what all these things are good for and what we can do with them. So that's my main activity at this time.
Well, you've been working hard, I know that, and you've been gone for a while too. Like, where have you been traveling? Can you tell us or not?
Yeah, the first 2 weeks in January, I was on the road. I went out and spent some time in Utah. When I go out there, some of my colleagues booked back-to-back meetings. I think I had 15 meetings in that week with customers and people who might become customers. And so I'm out there, sacrificing for
the good of us all.
Teaching people what they can do with the BitShares system. And then about at the weekend time, I hopped on a plane and flew all day and all night and clear down through Hong Kong and over to Manila in the Philippines.
Wow.
I had 3 other meetings with different potential future announcement types. And while I was there, I also came down with the flu, so I spent every moment in bed in a hotel room in Manila after all that long flight. So I got back. I'm pretty much recovered except for a little bit of cough, but it was the trip from hell.
Well, I know I've got the same thing, and again, hopefully we won't hack, even though we can be hackers tonight. Well, tonight is, if you got any new information, definitely we want you to tell us that, and then also let us know what's going on with all the numbers falling, and then we want to get to the Q&A from everybody that's calling in. Thank you guys that are watching right now. I do know that you have, you've got a phone call coming in at a certain time, so as soon as you need to go, let us know. But go ahead first. I have a feeling you've got some bad news when it comes to what's coming up in the future. It's just burning in my mind. The amazing Kreskin is just it's hitting me there.
Oh, we're super excited. We got several things we're just itching to announce, and you would not believe what goes into making an announcement. Number of people that have to sign off on it. We got to coordinate with various news outlets who sometimes want to have a review or some sort of a editorial input on what we're going to put out, and then we have the people that we're supporting in their different coin initiatives, and they have to go through their management chain. And every time we change one thing, we've got to run it back through approval cycles, and it's been great. But we're real close. I thought I was going to be able to tell you some stuff tonight, but unfortunately, the announcement that we plan to make tomorrow did not get approved as of this showing.
Ooh, that's not cool. We'll forget it. See you later. Bye, Stan. Gotta go. Got things to do.
You're playing the back, doing the, what is it, those shadow figures on, trying to entertain. But that's okay, because I got better stuff to talk about. It's not better, but it's other stuff to talk about. And so we can go into that.
Okay, well, let's do that. Before we get to the Q&A, and you guys, when you do ask a question, Blue Rockers that are out there, and those new people out there that are joining us for the first time, if you subscribe while you're here, well, I would like that. And while everybody is here right now, please hit that like button. I would appreciate that. We want the Blue Rock Talk to grow. And if you're new out there, a Blue Rocker is what you are if you subscribe, and that is someone in the know. All right, so, and also our greeting is this. And Stan, by the way, is a master at this. He can do all sorts of stuff. All you really need to do is to go, yo, but he entertains his grandkids with that, and we all get freaked out as well. Like, what did that guy just do? So, so before we take questions, I know the big question is, what is going on? Not with the blockchain, and maybe it is the blockchain, but what is going on with all the numbers falling down? And I got to, what is BitShares now? I mean, right at this second, what is it, 24? What did it get up to 92?
Yeah, we were up to 92, and that was pretty heady times. That meant that we made our numbers of a factor of 200 growth during 2017. But we are, like all the other currencies, tethered to Bitcoin, because currencies are typically priced in Bitcoin. Okay, so if on one particular day you could get 1,000 BitShares for 1 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin falls in half, then guess what? The price of your BitShares fell in half too, because there's a little lag in the market while it's still priced in Bitcoin, and so that and everything else follows that same general pattern. Now, superimposed on top of that are lots of other factors, individual decisions people are making, and BitShares is a complex system with lots going on, so there are many different moves people make within the BitShares system that could affect the price as it goes along as well. So quite a lot of things pushing and pulling, but I would say the big thing that we're seeing right now is that a fundamental watershed event happened in the industry where big boys, if you will, people with lots of money, discovered the industry during the Bitcoin run-up last fall and started building into their trading systems the ability to do futures trading. And the result of that is there are new tools, powerful tools, for them to manipulate the market. And so these large individuals with large sums of new money see a lot of amateur investors out here that are just learning about digital currencies.
And doing well, by the way. We've been doing well because of it. I mean, I was about to pay off 3 credit cards and be like so happy. And I mean, days ago, just like 3 days ago.
Well, here's
nothing.
Good news. That discovery by all the wolves of Wall Street are bringing new money in, which is how we get the nice growth that we all enjoyed in the fall. But with that influx of money comes an influx of sharks. There, I mixed a metaphor on you. Wolf sharks. So they're circling around all us innocent little striped colored fish that are swimming around in our schools and just waiting to come swooping through and take a big bite out of us. And that, I think, is one of the big factors that we're going to have to put up with in this industry during this growth phase until there's enough different players of the big kind that they start getting the market under control the way Wall Street might be. I'm not saying it's necessarily good to have that kind of control, but when you have multiple sharks, they kind of keep each other in check. When you just have a few, an independent action of any one of them can send things reeling and do a lot of damage to little people. But the name of the game in this industry is, if you can fleece somebody, fleece them because you're playing by the rules. And their attitude is it's the big leagues, and in the big leagues we're allowed to play tackle football. And it doesn't matter how hard they smash you into the ground. If they do it according to the rules, then that's apparently okay and ethical.
That's kind of like bad miners, right?
Well, we got a whole zoo of potential bad actors in this industry. But I will tell you that we have some news along those lines, or shall we say, the BitShares antidote to some of these things that's coming along. Another trend that I just made up right here in front of you.
You're good that way, Stan. Go for it.
That's a new mega trend that I didn't talk about on Coast to Coast with you.
Okay.
But this particular one is the fact that the need for it is showing up because of what we've just been talking about. And that is going to be the rise of gold-backed digital currencies. Now, why would that be particularly interesting? What possible need would there be? If people are going to be manipulating Bitcoin, and we've all been referencing ourselves to Bitcoin in the industry, we're all going to suffer from that. But guess what? One by one, people are going to start pricing their assets in terms of something more stable. And one of the things that we're introducing this month is the Quint, which is a new type of gold-backed currency, legal tender in the state of Utah. And we're just about ready to get that operational. When that happens, people are going to be able to, just simply hold digital-backed gold, gold-backed digital, I guess, and trade that and escape to that in a hurry. If somebody starts manipulating the market, poof, all the fish disappear into the coral reef, right? And the gold-backed currencies will be one of those instantaneous escape mechanisms that people can duck into. But it's better than that because things that are priced in that, let's say BitShares are for sale, and they're priced not in terms of Bitcoin, but in terms of something that people can't manipulate. That would be the price of gold. Now, I know somebody out there is going to say, Stan, they can manipulate the price of gold. They've been doing it since the beginning of time. Yeah, but they can't manipulate it like they do Bitcoin. And so I think we're going to see the industry shift to a new reference system, and we're going to be there with literal tons of gold bullion backing plenty of these new digital currencies this month. So help is on the way, and that's not tomorrow's announcement, but it's probably next week's announcement or on that.
Okay. Well, I want tomorrow's announcement as soon as you get it. Okay, we'll make it happen. So here's my question about that. Quint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quint. Okay. Quint is with BitShares.
Quint is an asset on the BitShares network.
Okay.
Remember, BitShares is a smart coin factory. All kinds of coins, hundreds of coins, and build into that an exchange that lets you trade all those in 3 seconds.
Okay.
Poof.
Yes.
So we're introducing asset after asset after asset, gnarly, interesting assets of all different types. And one of them is a nice, stable, beautiful, deliverable gold reference. So you take 1,000 quints, you can have an American Eagle delivered to your doorstep.
Oh, that's nice. I like something in my hand. But, so right now you're saying that all the numbers are going down because everybody's tethered to Bitcoin. So with Quint, will that be tethered to Bitcoin? Any of your other new things coming in? Will you finally be, is BitShares going to be where everything comes in and all of a sudden Bitcoin doesn't matter what happens with Bitcoin?
I'm saying that's the trend. It won't happen overnight, but after a few of these getting jerked around by people manipulating the price of Bitcoin by, doing trader tricks, let's just say, large sudden moves that send people panicking and cause large swings in the market. The obvious remedy to that is to start pricing things against a stable reference. Okay, and so certainly on the BitShares system, we're going to begin introducing, because BitShares can trade anything against anything. I mean, if you imagine a list of 300 currencies by 300 currencies, you could have a market with any pair. Just pick any combination in that crossword puzzle of possible markets. Most of them don't have anything in them right now. Nobody trades things except against the major stuff. But when we start pumping all these new gold coins out there, then those are going to become preferred trading pairs. And you'll be able to trade things against gold instead of against somebody else's promise of dollars or Bitcoin or whatever.
Okay, but in the future, when all these applications or dapplications, what they might be called, that go on BitShares blockchain, that should eventually, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It should take care of itself, right? I mean, is that wrong, or am I looking at that wrong, or is that the plan?
That's the plan, to move in that direction, and having stable references like gold, much more stable references, is a good way to help. Now, that doesn't mean that the big boys can't come along and play games, but they'll be damped down due to the arrival of more players and the arrival of these new stabilizing influences.
So they're just playing games where, okay, I'm just going to sell a whole bunch, I guess, or I guess they sold a whole bunch, right? And then everything goes down, and then I guess that allows them to buy a whole bunch too, and freak people out and get them out, so they end up winning at the second round of their little gameplay. Is that right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Really? People think that? I guess the rich get richer in a certain way. They know how to play the game.
Well, it's a standard trick in the regular Wall Street markets and so on, but those are mature markets with mature professional traders. And so, every move and counter move out there, there's only so much you can get away before somebody else swoops in and says, thank you for dumping a whole bunch of stuff on the market. I'll just take it. And they suck it up, and that dampens it out. But in this market here, you can come in and do a move like that and create panic where nobody knows why it's happening, because they're amateurs. But they flee and they run and they sell. And that just makes the matters worse. And then because of that, experienced traders say, well, I wouldn't panic myself, but I know all the amateurs are going to panic, so I'm going to panic first. And so, you can really make a large swing if you're a big whale with a lot of money to throw around and no scruples.
I gotcha. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start checking out the questions. While I look for some questions to ask you from our viewers out there right now, can you just give an estimate of when you think things might start going up a bit, or what your thoughts are in the future?
Well, what I've been working hard on, and I've written about on Steam /@Stan just real recently, I started a 12-part series where we're going to be introducing a lot of more stabilizing influences. Right now, everything is pretty much about speculation, and people, guessing what's going to go up and what's going to go down, and what rumor happened. And because the money is so liquid, even if you have a good announcement on a coin, like I just did a new super upgrade, it doesn't matter. As soon as you make the announcement, people say, okay, well, that's all the news from here. I'm selling BitShares and going off and buying Dogecoin because I hear they're going to have an announcement. And people just hop around to wherever the next announcement's coming, rather than sticking with things that have long-term potential. And so what I've been working on is creating things that will make long-term staying with the system a good idea, because each of these things grow consistently with the productivity of a new company. So when a company starts making profits, and some of those profits are being plowed back into buying BitShares, guess what? Day in and day out, more buying pressure because there's a profitable company behind it. And I know of 10 such profitable companies that I'll be introducing during this 12-part series. By the time I get to part 12, I imagine I'll have some new ones because there's just a lot of stuff happening. So hopefully this continuous influx of a new model driving it, a model driven by the productivity of an industry as opposed to the speculation on rumors, will make our particular asset much more interesting to people, much safer for people to work with than the current Wild West that we're facing right now.
Well, I'm looking forward to what the announcements you have for us. And people, I have no idea what they are. He teases me just as much as he does you. I thought we were going to have it on, and he knew right before we went on the air that we weren't going to be able to do anything. So he didn't get okay.
I know of things that are going to change your life. So just you wait.
How much longer do I got to wait? Okay, so let's go get some questions here before your phone call comes in that will change everybody's life. Let's see here. Let's see. You guys, please, Blue Rockers out there, if you can, ask your questions in bold type, in all caps. That way I can find them. It's great. Everybody's talking amongst themselves, but one question real quick, Patrick Konchak. Does Holyfield have an account on Steemit?
I don't know, but he's going to, well, not on Steemit. Maybe he will. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, he certainly, we're going to be meeting with him on at least one, maybe two events before the end of February, where we'll actually be doing some interviews with him and public appearances with him. And I think he may, he's certainly going to have a BitShares account because he's very interested in that. Whether or not he'll blog on Steemit or not, I don't know him that well yet.
Right. I don't know. Maybe he'll get a PR person or something to do something like that. Once they learn about it, once people learn about Steemit that don't yet, they'll get a PR person. That's you know, why not?
Suggested to him. Yeah, his agent is actually the nephew of Gloria Gaynor of the I Will Survive fame.
Oh,
so
okay.
Maybe
it's a great tune.
Will start blogging on Steemit. Who knows?
Okay, well, just make sure that they also go and upvote and follow people and re-steam so they can keep that money going, right? That's what you got to do, right? Okay, so let's see here. I don't know what that question means. Somebody super Toblerone? Is that the candy bar? Excuse me. Said, would you rather save yourself or 5 other people? So I don't know if that's
what was
question or
that again?
It says, would you rather save yourself or 5 other people?
That's an interesting question.
He could be asking somebody else something there. That's why, you know, you guys have some complete sentences. I'm going to sound like the English teacher now in 5th grade. Complete sentences and complete questions. Why are multi-sig transactions so expensive? Multi-sig?
I don't think that they're...
I don't know. People respond.
I'm not sure.
Why are the transfer and transactions so expensive? BitShares isn't.
I wouldn't say that's true at all. We're talking pennies to do these things. They just had a major price reduction. You know, the prices are set by the committee, and they do adjust them, and they vary with the price of BitShares. So right now, with the current drop in the market, it's like a fire sale on rates because they haven't adjusted the rates. They just did it a week or two ago, and now they're the rates are better than ever. If you're going to get a lifetime membership, now's your chance because price is probably 1/3 of what it was a couple weeks ago.
I guess he's back on here talking about multiple signatures. On multiple signatures, the transactions are. I guess that's what they're talking about. Why are multi-signature transactions so expensive? Did you answer that?
Well, I guess I haven't looked at the latest price table to actually see what the people have put there, but I would guess that the logic of the people who make up the prices, which is the committee of people that are elected by the shareholders, is they want to keep the price very low for the simple transactions that ordinary people use and make some money for the exchange to help cover expenses by charging for the specialty items. Multi-signature transactions are typically used for industrial purposes, for companies and various enterprises that want to organize how they do things. So maybe they made those prices a little higher so that they could make the prices lower for a simple send.
This is what he's written down here. It's the Vedic way. So I'm trying to get it out for you there, the Vedic way. Like a normal transfer, it's 0.01, nice and cheap. But if a wallet has signatures from 3 people, then it's like 10 times.
Okay, well, I guess I haven't seen that particular event, but since you mentioned it, I'll look into it and see if I can understand what's going on. But the simple answer is I don't set the rates. They're set by a committee, and the committee tries to do it in such a way as to attract newbies while making some money on people who are doing more complex transactions.
Well, that's definitely a good question, especially if you got multiple accounts, to save the password and all that kind of stuff, because I've got like 4 or 5 accounts myself just for those reasons. So what other way might you separate yourself from Bitcoin, or can you, from Reverend Davey?
Well, the best way we can separate ourselves from Bitcoin is to become bigger than Bitcoin, and I'm working on it.
You are. You really are.
Right now, Bitcoin is the great granddaddy reference currency. You would say it has the same role in the digital industry as the dollar has in global currencies. You could think of it as our reserve currency. And it gets set because it's got the biggest market cap and been there for the longest time. And so all of the different things that trade on the different exchanges always want to be able to trade against Bitcoin because that's where the deepest markets are and the most liquidity is. And if you look at some of the exchanges, they have added in a few more that have gotten higher enough in liquidity. Ethereum is one that you find a lot. Litecoin is another one. So there's more than one, and that means there's room for us. So.
Okay. I'm going to try to get in as many questions as I can before your phone call. So James Rick says that your son, Dan, said there will be a DEX. Is that said as DEX, or is that said as DEX?
We just say DEX, distributed exchange, decentralized.
Okay. Well, your son had said there will be a DEX on EOS. And the question is, will that be different from BitShares?
Well, I haven't talked to him about that, and we sort of have a rule that no back channel communication between Dan and I about what his company is doing and what we're doing. So I don't have any inside information on that. I can speculate that there'll be everything on EOS. And therefore, there'll be the opportunity to have DEXs, and there probably are people wanting to build DEXs on there. And that is why I'm advocating to the BitShares community that we be ready to put a version of BitShares on there. Because just like Microsoft put Office on the Mac so that someone else wouldn't develop a competitor, I think BitShares needs to be on EOS in some fashion. But that's up to the community.
Thinking ahead, definitely thinking ahead. Ryan, just to kind of stay on the same subject a little bit, Ryan Aspinall, I hope I got that right, asked any in-depth tutorials for using BitShares DEX.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them out there. I published an article, I don't know, it's probably a few months ago, called Notes for Newbies on Steemit /@Stan. You go there and I put links to all kinds of training videos and reference links and good stuff. Just go browsing around through that. It'll keep you out of trouble for a month.
Yeah, a lot longer than that, trust me. Holy cow. Take a look at the links below. You're going to find out where to find myself and also Stan on Steemit. If you are not on Steemit yet, those of you that have not heard about it, it's a blogging, posting kind of Facebooky, YouTubey kind of all, social media platform where you get upvoted and re-steamed, where people basically repost and like, and you do it with currency. You do it with Steem and Steem back dollars, and it's very interesting. It's very exciting, and it's you can make money, and you start out with money. Briefly, can you tell people how that is, where you start out with money? Because I've tried to tell people, they all think it's a scam at first. They think, oh, well, how much money do you got to put into it? None. I put in none. And I'm like at 9,000 right now. It's Steam dollars, so I don't know what that is today. But it's gone down. But can you tell people how it starts out with money originally, where you never have to put it in? Unless you don't want to, you actually can add money to it.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to, and there's reasons why you would, because it gives you more voting power if you have it in there in a certain form. So that's good. But no, the Bitcoin example would be from day one, every block that came along was good for 50 Bitcoins. That's gone down now to maybe 12 and a half per block. But in that case, the people who are wasting all the electricity on Bitcoin are, basically getting the coins. Well, instead of using proof of work on the Bitcoin, Steemit uses proof of providing value. And so it gives coins out just like Bitcoin does, but to the people who do the work of writing or critiquing.
I love it. I absolutely love seeing the blockchain in action and the currency in action, not just trading and really nothing benefiting from it. This is, you're doing something, you're having fun, a good time. Everybody's sharing in the wealth, and it's also a very good community. It's very uplifting and positive. And there's some negative in there, but for the most part, it's very positive and rewarding, and I really like that. That's a wonderful thing that Dan came up with. And also Ned Scott, right? It's Dan and Ned Scott, is that right?
Yeah, those were the two principals that founded the company. Now Ned controls the whole company, and Dan's moved on to EOS.
Excellent stuff. Okay, so let me get back to some of these. What are your thoughts on some of the recent scandals and rumors surrounding Arise Bank? Jared Rice.
Oh, well, that's been a real problem. That's a darn right shame, okay, because a lot of people out there think that it's appropriate to go do character assassination, slander, and libel. These things have been illegal, as far as I know, since the beginning of time. You don't do that to people. What we have is a certain group of people who decided, and we have actual evidence that there is an orchestrated campaign funded by who knows who. We think we know who. So this disinformation is going out there, and of course some people react to that disinformation and try to, pile on, because that's part of the blood sport of this industry. And of course there's other people that are willing to give people a chance. I don't know of a single entrepreneur anywhere who hasn't failed 2 or 3 times, picked themselves up, dusting themselves off, started a new business, and that's how eventually you get to a success. And so a lot of people come along and they find every little fault, like, oh, your software isn't done yet. You said you'd have this. Well, the whole thing you do when you're going to start a new company is tell everybody how great it's going to be when it's done, and what your plans are, and how you're going to get there. And I've observed Jared now for, I've only known him a few weeks, maybe a month, but he's impressed me as an incredibly hard worker and a guy who's got a whole lot of irons in the fire, trying to do a whole lot of things. You could fault him for being aggressive or trying to accomplish too much, but there are other guys out there like Elon Musk, who has over and over again taken on the impossible. And there were periods in Elon Musk's life when everybody thought he was going to fall flat on his face, and he's succeeding because he dares to try. So I look at it and say, I always give a guy the benefit of the doubt. chance to go prove himself and apply the lessons he's learned on whatever other experiences he's had in the past. That's how we all grow.
There's a lot of bullies out there. I don't know why the world has gotten, I mean, it's almost like the internet is just let those people that are under rocks just have a voice that's so loud, and they're cutthroat. I mean, there's a guy doing the same thing to Sean Worthington, and it's just terrible, just throwing out all this stuff. And, you know, it's the same with our president. Holy cow. I mean, I tell you, to be that strong, to hear that many cut downs constantly, it's just, I mean, you all get it. Anywhere you are in the public eye, you get it. I got some last night because it was from the cloud, because it was one of Sean's guys, and so I had to hear some of it. And being on coast to coast, you know, but poor George Norrie gets it way worse than I do. And you know, I take his advice. What do you do? What do you do? You know, it's not easy, because you're really out there doing everything you can. You know, you're putting your heart out on the line, and your life out on the line, and your thoughts out there, and you're really trying to do good. And then there's these little bullies that are just big, loud, and we just need to stop giving them energy, because they keep growing and growing, right? I mean, there's bigger and bigger, and we give them attention, and it's like, that's the worst thing to do.
I've had that happen to me now. Dan's had it happen to him since the very beginning. We were called a scam, and of course, every time we make a move of any type, and certainly as an entrepreneur, you have to adapt. When you hit a roadblock, you make some changes, so on. So you go back and look at my personal history and how many things have been said about me as we go along. You know, these days, I guess, because I've been around long enough, I've got a certain amount of Teflon just from having been survived as long. But the problem is that while I may be tough enough to ignore it, hardened by the years of experiencing it, it's still a problem when you're trying to do a piece of business. You're finding a partner, and the partners don't know the history. They just see all the rumors and stuff like that, and that's very damaging. I'm a guy, just like Jared is, who's trying to do big things that will benefit the industry. And people that come around and do these other things scare off a lot of the new things that could cause growth for everybody. And so while we may have thick skins, the people we're trying to bring to the community don't have thick skins. And that type of behavior damages
They know what
the
they're
whole.
doing. They know what they're doing. That's why they're doing it. You know, and it's terrible. Don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you hear. You know, you gotta. It's like Gerald Celente, one of our favorite people, says. You know, think for yourself. Think for yourself. So let me get back to some questions here. Anonymous user. Stan, is there any work going on in the background for BitShares to migrate to EOS? The pair would be unstoppable. Surely this is part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's certainly part of my bigger picture.
Does Dan know that yet?
Well, once again, BitShares is an autonomous company, and it makes its own decisions based on the votes of all the people who are involved. So the most that the Godfather of BitShares could do is express an opinion which might influence some one way and cause others to vote for the opposite. So I don't know how it might actually turn out. My inclination would be that if the community doesn't do it, and I happen to have the resources at the time, I maybe just make a second copy and put it in the EOS environment and share drop it on everybody and say, here, Happy New Year. So whether I can do that or not depends on what resources I have at the time. The only sure thing is if the community looks at it and makes a decision to fund it with our huge war chest of hundreds of millions of dollars that are sitting in BitShares ready for people to vote to do stuff like that.
Let's go. Let's do it. Well, someone asked, speaking of Dan, they asked if you and Dan still have time to talk with each other and say hi and do anything together.
Well, he lives about a half hour from me, and so we get together like, on holidays and stuff, family get-togethers. And we all went down to Georgia and visited his grandfather down there for his 90th birthday. So we do get together, but probably not as often as we'd like.
Well, that's no good, is it? As a father, you're like, well, this is the time, though. How old is Dan? In mid-20s?
track, 36 maybe,
Oh,
something.
36. Why, it looks younger than that, doesn't it? Looks a lot younger than that. But that's the time when you are, an adult going out and doing things and not seeing dad as much. However, you're busy working on the BitShares and he's working on EOS, and but the plan is to come together, right? I mean, that's
Well, once
incredible.
again, the company that's building EOS has its own plans that they don't share with me. Uh, I can tell you the kind of direction I would like to hint. And, Dan did stop by our BitShares forum today for a few seconds and made a few comments and suggestions. So, every once in a while we hear from him, and that's generally met with delight from that particular forum.
Well, sticking back with you and Dan again, Johnny Jelko. Stan, how is BitShares going about acquiring EOS to stake as bandwidth for entire decks?
Well, nothing like that has been done. So, those are all things that have to be worked into the plan. And so, we'll have to see. That's a really good question because while BitShares has a nice war chest, the mechanism for how that how you would own a piece of another blockchain and hold it in a decentralized way is one of the holy grail questions.
So I've got a couple people here that are very skeptical about crypto in general. Do you feel that, like some people have said, that it's going to crash to the bottom and that's it, it's over, it's done? And go ahead and take everything out now because it's going to hit rock bottom and it's over. Do you feel that's the case, or do you feel, hey, it's safe, stick around, it's going to go back up? I think even Jonathan Baihai, I think he had tweeted of Pure Play, had tweeted something like, hey, it did this before in 2016, it dropped way down and it went right back up. So
yeah, I mean,
you don't think it's going to crash, right?
No. Well, anything can happen. I can't guarantee anything. But if you go look at a plot of the price of Bitcoin and you start zooming in as you go back in time, you'll see these same peaks and resets over and over and over again, just on a smaller scale. There's a huge peak going up to $1 and then back down to a half a dollar, and then a big zoom up to $10 and down to $5. And, that has repeated, I don't know, by this time 6 or 7 times. Big run-ups like this. That is the characteristic of the boom and bust cycle, and that's caused by people getting excited, watching it go up. Everybody piles in. It goes up real high. Everybody says this is too high, and half of them sell, and it seeks a new level. And then people have to get their nerve up again, and off it goes on the next cycle.
Yeah, I think I can't imagine it going away either. It's just so many people are so excited about it, and I think there's so much of a future, especially the stuff that you guys are doing. So this is interesting. Steve Picky, let me see if I can do this. I hope it's all in here. So Steve says, hey Stan, I want to tell you about a dream I had in early 16. My wife and I were in a department store buying clothes at the sales counter, and I asked the clerk if they accepted Bitcoin. She replied, no, but we do accept BitShares, and they're the same price as Bitcoin, and a $300 appeared in my dream. So I think that's it. I think, Steve, that was it for you. So that was his dream. So that's pretty sweet.
It's more than a dream. I'd say that's a profound prophecy. Congratulations.
That's right.
I have that one too.
I like that. You're right. That's very true. Thank you, Steve. Let me see if there's some other questions. I'm trying to go from the top down. And see, the name of that was Quint. We got that was Quint. Hold on here. How we doing time-wise? We okay with you?
Well, I don't know when they'll call, but in another 2 minutes, they might.
Okay, we'll
We squeeze in before my phone rings.
Okay, you got it. Okay, I want to get in all our questions for the Blue Rockers here. People are everybody's talking amongst themselves a little bit, which is great. So let me go down a little further. How does BitUSD compare to Tether USDT, and is there any plan to get BitUSD on other exchanges?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say I'm not going to badmouth things, but Tether is not tethered to anything, but it's highly used, and certainly Tether is simply them printing money and saying, yeah, if you give me $1, I'll give you a Tether, and you can go spend it and hope it stays like $1. But there's fine print on their website that says they don't promise to redeem it, and so it's printing money just like the Federal Reserve, and people use it at your own risk. Whereas BitUSD is backed by the blockchain with twice the amount of BitShares necessary to back it, and so it is the true stable counterparty-free risk currency. That doesn't mean it stays perfectly level. Right now it's selling higher than $1 because everybody wants some of them. And so they're willing to pay a premium just to have the safety of it. And a lot of people need safety so bad they're going to go buy tethers. That's not a good idea, but people still do it. So we got a communication and teaching problem, and so we'll have to work on that.
They need to become a blue rocker so they can get your advice. That would be okay. Let's see. You may have already answered this one. Steve Picky is asking, Stan, will BTS, BitShare, and EOS ride the hash graph rails when that platform is fully implemented? You may have already kind of answered that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is all going to turn out. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people voting different directions, and what much funding do we have, and who knows. But it'll be exciting, and I do think that the future of BitShares and EOS are intertwined.
I know they got to be, right? They got to be, right? Sorry, let me get my hair there. Okay. Are there any plans for BitShares ATMs? They've heard you talk about that before. That's Pete X asking that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've talked to multiple different organizations that have plans for that. Certainly Arise Bank has famously been talking about their particular model based on the Raspberry Pi. I've seen the particular model. As I understand it, they have a bunch of them on a slow boat from China, and they'll be putting those out in initial release. But there's other examples of people that are doing that sort of things. The guy I visited in the Philippines has a project that he'll be announcing for a similar type of machines. So.
Yeah, what's going on with the guy in the Philippines, huh? Tell us a little bit about that. You can't, can you?
Well, there are several individuals there. The particular guy that I've was meeting with, one of them was Steve Tiffany, and he's an entrepreneur, got a whole team of coders there, and he's working on some projects that, of course, I'll let him announce.
Okay, all righty. Hopefully they'll join us on here on Blue Rock Talk as well in cryptoconnie. I mean, if they want,
Yeah.
that would be nice. Okay, James Rick, you may have answered this one too. James Rick said, what's an easy way to explain how BitUSD works? Did you answer that?
Well, I got happy to do that again. The easiest way to explain it is that I can take my deed to my house down to the bank, and I can give it to the bank to hold for me, and they'll let me borrow up to 80% the value of my house, and I can go spend it on anything I want, include buying another house if I wanted to. So in the case of BitUSD or the Hero or BitCNY or whatever, you don't take your deed down to the bank. You take your BitShares to the blockchain and say, here, Mr. Blockchain, hold these in escrow for me and lend me one of these fancy coins that you will guarantee is worth some of my BitShares, a fixed value for that coin. And now I can sell that to other people who find it valuable because the blockchain is guaranteeing that it will be worth a certain number of my BitShares. And so that's how I can put my BitShares to work. If I think they're going to grow, I can have them all growing rather than spending some of them. And I can still use some of it by borrowing against it and putting a new coin into circulation that way.
Yeah, I'm glad I taped these things so that I can listen again to your advice. It's really nice. Okay, another question from the Vedic way. Most other coins have legal agreement on their website. I can't find any on the BitShares website. Where can we find it? I read tethers and it's scary.
Yes, you should be scared. Be afraid. Be very afraid. They're telling you explicitly they have no responsibility to you whatsoever. And people have bought over 1 billion of them. So, there's, what is it Forrest Gump says, stupid is as stupid does. Uh, that's certainly buying into that. It works as long as there's another person out there willing to accept them from you. And right now, I guess that works, but I would certainly never own one. So what was the rest of that question? I had so much fun with it that I actually forgot it.
You did have fun with that one. Hold on here. Let's see. I was looking for the next one. He was asking about where he could find the legal agreement on the website for BitShares.
Yeah. Well, BitShares has a white paper that goes out and describes what it was we were going to build at the beginning. Since that time, what you've got is the actual code based on GitHub, which defines precisely in code what the behavior of that system will be. And of course, there's a process for the community to amend that through a process of voting for new changes to be accepted. And so that whole system is designed to run autonomously with no counterparty out there. So there is no way to involve the government in it. The code is the law. And that's true a lot of those coins. Now, people who issue coins on top of the BitShares change may do an ICO and create a coin that does need to have a separate white paper type document that makes the commitment that corresponds to what that coin will do. And that becomes something that in a more regulated environment, people would be held accountable for. In the current Wild West, your actual mileage may vary.
All right, I'm trying to get these questions in for you before you go. I know that thing's going to ring. It's going to sound like the Twilight Zone, right? Is that, what's the music that you have? What is it?
It's called bluerocktalk music.
No, it is. It's like every time it happens, I'm thinking, I'm freaking out when it happens. James Rick asks, could you increase the margin trading limit on BitShares? Kraken uses 5 times and Bitfinex, I guess, uses 3.3 times.
Well, anything's possible if the committee that's elected to consider those things decides to make a change. Most of the parameters in BitShares are settable by the committee without changing the software. So it could happen, but in general, those numbers were carefully considered based upon the fact that it's an unmanned system that has to enforce the rules. And whereas on some of the other exchanges you're talking about, they can do other things or make other commitments based on their own reputation and their people's tolerance for risk. So I think we have to be super conservative because there is no people behind the scenes that can change it or adapt in a hurry if that would be necessary.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. The future is now with computers running everything, but keeps it fair, right? Reverend Davey says, I'm more skeptical about the dollar than I am about crypto. How about you, Stan?
I totally agree with you. The dollar is deliberately manipulated, and in crypto, at least some crypto, the code is the law. And of course, that's why crypto was invented at the beginning, is to make up for the irresponsible, downright lawless behavior of the people who are running the dollar and every other currency clear back to the Roman Empire, where governments have abused their currencies. And history is littered with dead currencies because governments cannot be trusted to manage currencies. And we see that now. So yeah, this is the whole purpose of our industry, is to try to provide an alternative to that evil system.
Okay, here's another word that I never know if it's a misspelling or just a new word that I haven't learned yet in crypto, okay, in the crypto world. So GUI, does that mean anything?
Graphical user interface. It's basically the front end that allows you to push and click buttons. The alternative to GUI would be a CLI, command line interface. And that's where you sit down and type long incantations that only computer geeks can remember.
Okay, I'm glad I asked that. Sometimes I just think it's a misspelling. So Johnny Jelko obviously knows what he's talking about. So his question is, Stan, will the BitShares GUI ever update the way coins are listed so it's easier to see what is an actual token like Bitcoin Cash and what is a user-created BitShares token?
Boy, there is nothing more discussed in our community than what the graphical user interface is like. And if you look at how different people decorate their living rooms, you see that there's no accounting for taste. And so that's the way it works in our system. We got some really talented people who are spending a lot of time and doing a lot of work for pretty much free that want to see it the way they want to see it. And if you want to see a different one, you either have to develop a different one, which you certainly can, or fund somebody to develop a different one. And certainly some of our partners are wanting custom wallets for some of their applications, so we'll be building some new ones over time, and you might like one of them better.
Is that, did you just answer the user-created BitShares token?
I didn't hear that question.
Yeah, and what is a user-created BitShares token?
One of the neat things about BitShares is it's a smart coin factory, which means built into it is the ability for anybody to bring up a little menu, a designer menu, and fill out the name of their coin and how many of them there are and all kinds of details about it. Press print, and you can print money. And of course, whether it has any value or not is a function of what you're making and whether people believe you.
Yeah, your coin sucks. Oh, what? No, what, right? Yeah. I guess you got to have something behind it, right? It's got to mean something. There's got to be a benefit behind it, right? Or some sort of something.
You take the entire gold industry of the world, a large portion of which is aligned with what we're doing out in Utah. And you look at the gold depository out there that we're using and the people who have managed to modify state law to make it legal tender. And when they say they're backing something versus Joe's Pizza and Lube Shop, who says they have gold in their locker room out back, which of those two gold-backed currencies are you going to trust?
Well, I guess earlier you said something about the code, and I was probably looking at questions, but the Vedic Way is responding back to one of your answers and says, you don't expect us to read the code to understand how BitShares works, do you? Maybe you can read the code, CryptoConnie, with your superpowers. Dun, da, 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 da.
Well, I'll just put it this way. Most of the legal documents out there you can't read either. So if you've ever had to look at some of the inch-thick legal documents behind a major merger, you find those are just as dense. And certainly when you go look at American law and all of the acts passed by Congress that say, let paragraph 3, section 7, title 9 be amended to read not. Okay, well, what do I know about that? I got to go find someplace and see where to search the word not. So, yeah, the law is worse than the code because the code at least compiles.
Well, I know nothing about code at all. I know 1 and 0, right?
Ultimately, that's what you get down to.
Okay, all right. Well, just take me to the basics. Take me to the basics. Okay, so let's see here. Stuck, I guess it's pronounced Stuck, says, Stan, I've been quite optimistic following the blockchain movement and what is to come. What would be your recommendations for pushing forward adoption to the masses?
Well, that's certainly what we're trying to do, and we're doing it in a couple different layers. We have the billionherocampaign.com, which is something that, it's taken us a long time to build, and we're still working on it. But when it's done, it'll be a gamified training environment where you can get some play money and try it and use it. And then we'll introduce all these other companies that we're announcing this quarter. And each of those will be gamified as a way to learn about ways that you can win or earn or spend or give money, trade, different things. So we're trying to create something we're calling the Hero Hub, which provides all these services and good customer support and everything to all the different industries we're bringing to the table. And so that's our big vision for the year, is to not only bring these companies on board, but provide them with an excellent user experience. But that's going to take millions and millions of dollars, and we've got a plan to get to that. So, hopefully by this time next year, you'll see the fruits of that labor.
Well, we got a lot of people cheering you on, and they're here right now watching. Those of you that are here, please like. I would appreciate that. Look in the description below for any links. Look at how to get a BitShares wallet, and also some areas to go look and learn about BitShares and ask questions, and a couple of links that we have down below. You can also follow myself and Stan on Steemit. The links are down below. Hello out there to DJ. He said hello to you and I. So say hi to DJ, Stan.
Hi, DJ.
Steve Pickey's got a cute little question here for you. Says, Stan, I noticed you have a book on your shelf for dummies. What is it, and why does Stan need a book for dummies?
Well, I got several of them back there. I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
A book for dummies, he says.
Yeah, I've got a book called Christianity for Dummies back there, which I use for my Sunday school lessons. So maybe that's one of the ones you're looking at.
Well, I'm going to get back up here with you. I know that someone else I knew had pointed out one of your other books where I guess it's got I think it's one of the ones you have showing actually, and they said, oh my gosh, he loves that book. I love this man. So he immediately loved you because of that book.
Yeah, it's a classic, and it's basically a magnum opus on the difference between libertarian thought and what we'd call statist thought. All the people who want to be living off the efforts of others versus the people who prefer not to have that type of parasites, if you will, wanting to suck down all their creativity. And she just wrote this magnificent storyline about a bunch of people who shrugged out. They just said, look, we could bring all of our great skills to the betterment of mankind, but if you're going to just sap our strength with all your rules and laws and regulations, we're just going to go off to Galt's Gulch and live separately, independently from you, where you can't raid our productivity.
Can you pull that book up so I can see it? I know it's right there behind you. I just wanted to see what it was.
There you go.
That's it. Can you raise it a little higher? There you go. I wanted to see the body. There we go. It's a dude. All right. I'm just kidding. So you know what I'll do is I'll put the link down below in that for people in the future. If they don't have it, they can find it. I'll do that for you. Since a lot of people I know love that book. They keep talking about it. So, and you have gotten more people to listen to you just because they saw that book in the background. So I thought that was funny. Let's see here. Let me find some more questions here. I think we've done pretty good here. I'm doing my best to catch them all, and I'm having trouble a little bit with the chat. So people are really happy with you answering for them. How many more orders of magnitude and growth does the Godfather have left for us? Johnny Jocko.
Well, I don't know. I think that last year we grew by a factor of 200, and we are so much stronger now than we were at the beginning of last year, this time last year, that I think growing by a factor of 200 is easily doable unless, other forces intervene, which certainly could happen. And I think that this time next year we will be so much more strong that it shouldn't be hard to do that again. So if I had to go out on a limb, I'd say there's at least 4 factors of 10 still out there for us. Or let's put it this way, 200 times 200, that's 4,000, which coincidentally is about how much Bitcoin has grown in the past few years.
And has fallen in the past 2 days? Sorry. It's like crazy. It's falling as we speak. Everything is going down. You know what? Let's see what BitShares is, by the way. You know what? Let me ask you a question. So when I go in the BitShares wallet, over on the side where it says to find your markets, okay, I'm going to my little wallet right now. And I'm going to the exchange, over there to the exchange if it pops up on me. It's down so low it doesn't even want to pop up. Come on. I know I'm using too much bandwidth out here, so let's pop it again. The question is over there on the side, it's where you find markets, and it says like US Bit and Bit BTS, and it's got about 4 different tabs. Which one do you look under to get the proper, current market price? It's under the My Markets and Find Markets over on the right side. And there's a BitUSD, Open BTC, BitCNY, BTS, and then a BitBTC. Which tab do you look under?
Well, those are just you can do it several different ways, but each of those 5 tabs is just 5 of the most common things that a lot of things are listed against. Remember, we talked about Bitcoin being a reference currency, and then there's a representation of Bitcoin and of the dollar and of BitShares and a couple more that are most commonly used with other things. So it's just organized that way because those are the 5 most commonly used things people want to trade against.
Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you, you have gone up since we've talked. I think when we started talking, it was at 24. It is now 32.
All right. Well, that's not bad. That's back to where the billion hero prize is worth $1 million again. So good.
All right. All right. Well, do you want to talk about anything that you want to say before we go? Let me just check real quick on the chat. I think I might have erased it. Oh no, please somebody copy that for me. Shoot. Let me just see if there's any more questions before we go, and then I want you to say your last words so we can let you get prepared for your phone call. Does BitShares, James Ricks, does BitShares have plans to try to increase all crypto coin trading volume?
Well, BitShares is an unmanned company. It doesn't have any plans, okay? And the Godfather of BitShares is seldom listened to. So
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Excuse me?
Whatever my plans are don't necessarily count. I think there are lots of people who'd like to see that, and certainly if I have any success at all in what I'm trying to do, I will be doing things to generate more liquidity everywhere I can. I certainly recognize the need for that. But we all do what we can do with the resources we have as they ebb and flow like we've watched in the past week.
All right, well, I just had the camera on you. I didn't want to talk until I got the camera back on me. I don't like doing that. So, all right. Well, again, Blue Rockers that are out there right now, thank you so much for being there. The newbies that are there from the crypto world that said, hey, I want to listen to the Godfather. Well, thank you for coming. Please subscribe while you're here. I would love for you to do that because Stan and I get to talk once in a while. And he gets to come in here with some breaking news from time to time. So make sure you're subscribed and then hit the notification bell so that you will know when that happens again. We also talk about some other cool things like UFOs and Bigfoot and really cool things like that. If you have never heard of me before, I've done a lot in the past with infomercials and Disney and all sorts of things. But also you can hear me now on Coast to Coast, the best, most unbelievable, incredible, iconic radio station out there on the planet. You hear that every night. It's on every night, and I'm on about once or twice a month. So I hope that you tune in. The next time I'll be on is the 27th, and this time Stan will not be on with me. I guess we got you 2 in a row, and that was great. You got to spend Christmas Eve with us, telling us all sorts of information on the birth of Christ as well as crypto. So that was quite interesting to add those two. So again, this is all the descriptions are down below in the box, and you can see all sorts of neat little links out there, and also information of how to get a hold of Stan. So watch out, Stan, they're coming. Before we go, Stan, is there anything else that you would like to say, just to sum things up and to get us prepared for what's to come?
Well, just hang in there, folks. Make sure you do your homework. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. This is a Wild West out there, and while there's a lot of good opportunity, there's also a good opportunity to lose your shirt. So be forewarned, but go out there and learn and enjoy the opportunities, which have never been bigger in the history of mankind, in my opinion.
Is that it? That's all you're going to give us? Is that it?
You'll have to have me back to hear my new announcement.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just trying to tell everybody thank you. So I definitely appreciate that you were here. So thank you very much, Dan, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right.
Yo, Mr. Blue Rocker. Hang in there. I'm going to say goodbye real quick, so just hold on there for me if you can. I would appreciate that. So once again, Blue Rockers, Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Stan will be back on again, and we'll be talking to other people too. I think we're going to get some other people to see. I don't know. I got to call up Salente and see what's going on, what his thoughts are of the crypto world. It seems like he's freaking out on the Twitter, so we'll have to get him in here and just watch him do his movements. And you notice Stan's getting just as animated, which is fun. So Blue Rockers, once again, thank you very much. I'll be on Coast to Coast the 27th. I'll surprise you with who's going to be on. There's going to be a couple people on, so I'll talk to you about that at one point as we get a little closer. Enjoy yourself. Stay warm. Be safe. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please like while you are here. And appreciate you guys were here. Our audio worked pretty well, didn't it? All right. I'm very happy about that. Yay! All right, Blue Rockers, once again, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it, and I hope that you guys have a safe and happy rest of the evening. We'll talk to you soon here on Blue Rock Talk. Blue Rock Talk. Crypto Connie here saying goodbye and good night.